Hey tribe, how are you? I felt like getting the book out today and I just opened it and it opened on step 4, lesson 4.5, what to expect. And as I scanned over this, all that really came through as far as what to share with you guys was to make sure you're bigging yourself up, to make sure that you're giving yourself a round of applause and a pat on the back as often as possible, because who's gonna do that for us? We don't necessarily have like every single person in our life constantly going to you, well done you for living, well done you for feeling your emotions, well done you for loving yourself and taking care of yourself. So it's like, it's often like we're looking at these stress patterns and we're looking at this density and we're going through these emotional experiences. And so in the depth of that work, it's really important to remind ourselves, hence my job, part of my role here is to reflect that back to you, to remind yourselves in as far as look at how far you've come. Even the fact of, look at the fact that we have this tribe, look at the fact that we have each other to talk about this stuff with, because even 20, 30, maybe even 10 years ago, these sort of collective tribes didn't exist yet in that regard, on an online platform, which means that we can be dotted all around the world and being of service to one another in a very obvious and kind of visceral, practical way. So make sure you big yourself up. Step 4, as you guys know, is all about your personal love ritual. I'm having to check. I'm like, wait, is it? Is it that one? I'm pretty sure step 4 is all about personal love rituals. And so, bearing in mind, interesting, so I've just looking back in step 3 on seeing those steps about really getting to know who you are, practicing that self-study. Because the divine spark, so once we get to step 3 in the book, that divine spark is like, we need to be connected to that. And that divine spark, we can feel it into a little space in our heart. We can feel into it as part of that central feeling channel that we know, that mind connects to the centers and that we are one with those connections. And then yoking that. So this is like so obvious, but the simplicity of it has only recently dropped in, as far as that's all that yoga is, or that's all really meditation is this practicing staying connected to the divine spark, because that divine spark is the presence of the moment that we are, right? And that is that intuitive connection that allows us to be sensitized to our environment, that allows us to be, fluid with a sense of flexibility and adaptability, and yet inner strength as well, a kind of inner, just pillar of strength, a pillar of presence, right? So attuning to the divine spark is really, it all merges together, right? It all kind of ebbs and flows together. It's like the classic thing of really step 11 loops us back to step 1. Like, it comes back to just gratitude. It comes back to just relaxation. And all of this stuff is subtle, and it gets more and more subtle as we work it out, because in essence, when we go deeper in ourselves, we become more subtle in our awareness. That subtlety is actually expansive pulling power. And then the less subtle we are, the less pulling power we are, because we're not engaged in our quantum field, right? We're just perceiving externally. We're not engaging from within. And so everything is just a transactional robotic experience, versus once you start to merge with your intuition, you really do expand your awareness field so that you're merging and playing like an energetic playground of creation. That's what we're doing here. um so step 1 to 4 is that first phase, and 4 ends on that kind of lighter note of, and actually this is quite relevant to myself, some of you guys who have coaching sessions with me, and then other tribe members who I do chat with. for a lot of us on this journey, life's been kind of tough. There's been a lot of suffering. It hasn't been smooth sailing. We haven't felt necessarily like one of the cool kids or one of the like in crowd. It's always felt a little alien to us. And the beauty of this phase that we're heading into is, and again, it's so weirdly paradoxical because like, it's like shit's getting real, you know? And you think that like shit's getting real, it's gonna get heavy, it's gonna get serious, but it's like serious, not somber. It's the fact that the more we commit, actually, the more fun life can be. But I'm seriously committed. I'm seriously committed to my joyful expansion. I'm seriously committed to my infinite joy. I'm seriously committed to, right, to my feeling of connection. And again, the paradox is like that serious commitment in myself is ultimately what has given me a feeling of liberation because I can be totally myself free in that. I'm not trying to play games. I'm not lying. I can be vulnerable in the present moment. So yeah, we're heading into summer, the summer of new beginnings, the summer of new opportunities, the summer of manifestation, loving manifestation. And so let's enjoy ourselves. You know, let's plan to have some fun. Let's plan to meet new people. Let's plan to congregate and come together. Let's intend to have good times so that we can enjoy and reap the reward and the divine compensation of inner work, of processing density, of transforming guilt and shame that, you know, the human collective is still carrying and has been carrying for eons and eons. So it's nice for us to come to this point in our storytelling that we can say, oh, we don't need to tell those stories anymore. And we just need to move through and experience the cellular transformation so that we can rise. So thank you guys so much for listening to that. I hope it was useful to you. Feel free to comment, feel free to share. Of course, for 22 minutes. Thanks, guys. I'll speak to you real soon. Take care. Peace out.